we have completed we have completed basic concepts, types of customs duties, assessment, import export procedure and relevant dates. Now for today we target to complete warehousing. Tomorrow should be valuation. Day after tomorrow should be duty drawback. Another 3 lectures and custom will be over. So today's target we are planning to do warehousing, page 92 to 109. Lot of amendments, deletions, substitutions we see in this chapter. Page 93. It seems that section 9 is deleted. What was section 9 was all about? Board was supposed to specify in this country where the warehouses can come. This section is deleted. Now it's very simple. You are feeling that in a particular area there is a demand for custom warehousing. You can apply for the license and subject to fulfillment of the conditions you will get that license. Not necessary that board has to decide where the warehouse can come. That section has been dispensed with. Wherever as a private player also you feel that normally warehousing will be required wherever there is a custom port or custom airport or land custom station. Obviously there, suppose there is Mumbai port, then Mumbai port is a custom port. Logically in Mumbai warehousing should be required. So obviously some player may wanting to start warehousing in Mumbai. It is not necessary that board should specify where warehouse should come. So that section has been dispensed with. Wherever required and wherever you feel that warehouse is required, you can apply, and subject to fulfillment of the condition you will get the license to open the warehouse. So that is the meaning of deletion of section 9. Previously till last year there were only 2 types of warehouse. One was public warehouse and one was private warehouse. Amendment 2016, now we have 3 categories of warehouse: public warehouse, private warehouse and special warehouses. Section 2, which defines warehouse, has been amended. Now not only you have public warehouses, not only you have private warehouses, but also you have special warehouses. What do you mean by warehouse goods? No value addition from me. Please read it yourself. I see that section 57 is also amended. Actually, section 57 is talking about public warehouse. What is the amendment? Before amendment, the word used was appoint, and it has been changed to license. What do you mean by appointment? If employer has appointed employee, his appointment will continue till it is terminated. What about the license? When license is granted, it is always for a particular period. For example, license has been granted for 1 year. At the end of the 1 year, unless it is renewed, it is automatically terminated. There is a difference between appointment and license. So in other words, previously once you are appointed as public warehouse, unless it is terminated, he could have continued for n number of years. But no, now 1 year. Every year, even public warehouse, fresh license has to be applied, and subject to getting the license renewed, your license will continue, because the word has been changed from appoint to license. I am reading section 57, Principal Commissioner of Customs or Commissioner of Customs. See, before amendment, it was Assistant Commissioner of Custom and Deputy Commissioner of Custom. So level of the sanctioning authority or level of appointing, now licensing, level of the licensing authority has also gone up. Previously, it was of the level Assistant Commissioner or Deputy Commissioner, but now licenses can be done by Principal Commissioner of Custom or Commissioner of Custom. Higher level officers will be checking the credentials and issuing the license. So I see 2 changes in section 57. Licensing authority has gone up now. from assistant commissioner or deputy commissioner, it has gone to principal commissioner, principal chief commissioner or commissioner. That is one. And secondly, the word appoint has been substituted by the word license. I see two changes, two amendments in section 57. I am reading section 57 for you. The principal commissioner of custom or commissioner of custom may, subject to such conditions as may be prescribed, license a public warehouse wherein dutiable goods may be deposited. If the imported goods are exempt goods or nil rate goods, they cannot be deposited. Reason is very simple. If the duty liability or is exempt or nil, execution of bond is not possible. And if execution of bond is not possible, warehousing is not possible. You can warehouse only dutiable goods. Mark the word dutiable goods. Only dutiable goods can be warehoused. Exempt goods or nil rate goods cannot be warehoused. What is a public warehouse? Any person, any importer who has imported dutiable goods can apply for warehousing and his goods will be transferred to the warehouse. Any person, any importer who has dutiable goods, his goods can be warehoused. That was section 57. Now I am reading section 58. It is on page number 94. Here also, if you compare it with the old section, authority was assistant commissioner of custom or deputy commissioner of customs in the old section. In the new section, it is principal commissioner of custom or commissioner of custom. Section 58 also, authority has gone up from assistant commissioner or deputy commissioner. It has gone up to principal commissioner or commissioner. Higher level authority. I am reading section 58 for you. The principal commissioner of custom or commissioner of custom may, subject to such conditions as may be prescribed, license a private warehouse wherein dutiable goods imported by or on behalf of licensee may be deposited. In public warehouse, anybody's goods can be warehoused. In private warehouse, only licensees goods can be warehoused. For example, I am Reliance Industries Limited. I am a very large player. At any point of time, value of goods which are either imported by me, which requires warehousing, is huge. Please understand. Mumbai port. There is already public warehouse here. It is owned, for example, by Warehousing Corporation of India. They own the infrastructure. When I keep the goods here, I have to pay rentals, warehousing charges, warehousing rentals, etc. And that also I have to keep it as per warehouse keeper schedule. Why should I incur rentals? I am a very big corporate. Money is no problem for me. I will apply for private warehouse license. Here, my goods will be warehoused. Now I don't have to pay any rental. So, in public warehouse, normally it will be owned by public sector undertakings like Warehousing Corporation of India, where any importer can keep his goods. And normally, if he can keep his goods, it will be subject to rent, warehousing charges, etc. But if I am a large player, I don't want to take shelter of public warehouse because money is no problem. I have applied for a private warehouse. I have been licensed to open a private warehouse. I have made infrastructure investment. Now my goods will be kept in my warehouse. Here public goods cannot be kept. Only licensed goods can be kept. And what is my position of advantage? I don't have to pay any rentals because warehouse is owned by me. If you read section 58 in comparison with section 57, in section 57 public warehouse, anybody's goods can be warehoused. Of course, they have to be dutiable goods. In section 58, only licenses goods can be warehoused. Again, they have to be only dutiable goods. That dutiable goods is not compromised. What is the major shift up to 2016 from 2016? What is the major shift? Now this is very important. Up to 2016 there were only two warehouses, public warehouse and private warehouse. From 2016 onward, in the amended form, there is going to be public warehouse, there is going to be private warehouse, and there is going to be special warehouses. See, warehouses definition has been amended, special warehouses. But the most important point, up to 2016, whether it is public warehouse or private warehouse, 100% control was of customs department. Please understand this. Even before 2016, public warehouse and private warehouse were there. Here, public warehouse investment was done by Warehousing Corporation of India. What Warehousing Corporation has done? They have created the infrastructure. But who was having control over the premises? It was absolutely customs department. So Warehousing Corporation of India was constructing the warehouse and then handing over the keys to the customs department. Maybe logistic was handled by public warehouse, but control was of customs department. Nothing can come in or nothing can go out without customs department permission. Same was the case with private warehouse. For example, Reliance wanted to open a warehouse here because they want to save on warehousing cost. They will create the infrastructure and they will hand over the keys to the custom department, because even on private warehouse, total control was of customs department. Nothing can come inside or nothing can go without customs department permission. Maybe logistics will be taken care of by Reliance because they own the warehouse, but control 100% was of customs department. In 2016 that has been changed. Now public warehouse, customs department has no control. Private warehouse, customs department has no control. Only special warehouses, customs department will continue to have 100% control. So before 2016, first of all, there was only public warehouse and private warehouse, and both of them were under 100% control of customs department. Now after 2016, public warehouse and private warehouse, no control. But special warehouses continue to be in 100% control of customs department. Are you okay with that? Before 2016, public warehouse and private warehouse also customs department had 100% control. But after 2016, public warehouse and private warehouse, customs department will have no control. Only special warehouses will continue to be under 100% control of customs department. Acha, but by no control, do you mean really no control, or is it going to be record based control? It is going to be record based control. Like assessment. Assessee is doing assessment, self-assessment. As a service provider, I will provide the service, I will prepare the invoice, I will determine value, I will determine applicable rate, I will find out my service tax liability, I will prepare the invoice, I will charge it to customer, I will collect it from my service receiver, I will pay it to central government. Government has no control, excise department has no control over me. I will maintain books of accounts, I will file the return. Now is the control. There will be record based control. Service tax department may scrutinize my returns, service tax department may order my audit, and there is a record based control. Same is the situation with public warehouse and private warehouse. Who will be granted the license? You should have certain criteria: your past record, your track record, your net worth, whether you are dependable kind of a corporate. Yes, you have no past criminal records, you have not been regularly breaking the laws. Apparently you are a very clean person and you have a very high net worth. Will license you to open a public warehouse and a private warehouse. Again, logically, though it is not written, public warehouses will be allowed only to state government and central government undertakings. Makes sense also. Why Reliance should create a warehouse for warehousing other people goods? So, normally though not written, public warehouse will be still public undertakings like Warehousing Corporation of India. Private warehouses will be private players, and there is no control, physical control, but it is going to be record based control. We are going to mention the procedures to be followed by the warehouse keeper. We are going to mention the rules to be followed by warehouse keeper, and there is going to be continuous audit. We have the control, but it is record based control. That is a major shift from 100% control that is under the new initiative of the government of ease of doing business. If there is a control, there is no scope for the growth. Now there is a scope for the growth. That's the major shift. But then there are few goods where government don't feel like depending on you, where customs department will continue to have 100% controls, and that is special warehouse. What are the goods? Hello, page number 94, notification number 66 of 2016. For which goods special warehousing facilities are applicable? Gold, silver, other precious metals and semi-precious metals and articles thereof. Goods warehouse for the purpose of supply to duty-free shops in custom area, supply as stores to vessel or aircraft, supply to foreign privileged persons. Because it is first attempt, try to remember it as it is. We can expect straight question. Which are the goods for which even today 100% control of custom department will be exercised, or what we call it as special warehouse? Which are the goods entitled for that? Please have a look at notification number 66 of 2016. Please read section 57, 58 and 58A. 57 is talking about public warehouse, 58 is private warehouse, and 58A is special warehouses. If you read the language, you will realize एक बार 58A की language पढ़ते, the principal commissioner of custom or commissioner of custom may subject to such conditions as may be prescribed license a special warehouse wherein dutiable goods may be deposited, and such warehouse shall be caused to be locked. Oh my God, even today they have, custom department has the control. Such warehouse shall cause to be locked by the proper officer, and no person shall enter the warehouse or remove any goods therefrom without permission of the proper officer. Even today, special warehouses will be under the 100% physical control of customs department. Very important point. Please understand, because it is amendment 110%, some kind of question is expected on these 2 pages. (58B) is a very obvious section. Now that we have privatized the warehouses, obviously, though we'll take utmost good care before licensing, but there are going to be culprits. There are going to be people who are going to break the laws. There are going to be people who are going to do the frauds. We have realized that we have licensed to particular person, but he has broken the laws. Will terminate his license. Once the license is terminated, no new goods could be warehoused. What about already warehoused goods? See to it they are transferred to some other warehouse within 7 days. In a particular case, commissioner can increase that period of 7 days. If offense is very grave, we may suspend the license. Termination. Word termination has different meaning. I'll give you show cause notice. I will tell you offense is done by you. I will give you opportunity of being heard, and then I will terminate the license. But suspension is immediate. Are you there? If offense is okay kind of offense, what I will do? I will terminate the license, and by terminate I mean I'll issue show cause notice. I'll give you opportunity of being heard, and if I'm able to understand yes there is an offense, I'll terminate your license. It may be a procedure, but suspension is immediate. If I feel that offense is grave, or if I feel that with immediate effect your license should be in question mark, First I will suspend it. I'll issue a notice with immediate effect your license has been suspended. And then I will start the procedure of termination, and within due course I will terminate your license. It depends on the gravity of the offense. If the offense is grave, first suspension and then termination. If offense is okay, termination. Whatever, once the process starts, no new goods can be warehoused. Whatever goods that are already in a warehouse should be transferred to other warehouses within 7 days. In a particular case, commissioner can increase that period of 7 days. Let us understand 58B. I'm on page number 96. Where the licensee contravenes any of the provisions of this act or the rules or regulations made thereunder, or breaches any of the conditions of license, the Principal Commissioner of Customs or Commissioner of Customs may cancel the license granted under section 57, 58 or 58A. Provided that before any license is cancelled, licensee shall be given reasonable opportunity of being heard. Cancellation is a process, issue of show cause notice, opportunity of being heard, and then termination of license. 58B2. The Principal Commissioner of Custom or Commissioner of Custom may, without prejudice to any other action that may be taken against licensee and the goods under this act or under any other law for time being in force, suspend operations of a warehouse during pendency of inquiry under subsection 1. Not written, but if offense is grave, first he will suspend the license. Third, where the operations of a warehouse is suspended under subsection 2, no goods shall be deposited in such warehouse during the period of suspension, provided that provisions of this chapter shall continue to apply to the goods already deposited in a warehouse. After suspension, no dutiable goods should be warehoused, and about the goods which are already there in a warehouse, same old provisions of warehousing should be applicable. 4. Where the license issued under section 57, 58 or 58A is cancelled, goods warehouse shall within 7 days from the date on which the order of such cancellation is served on the licensee, or within such extended period as given by the proper officer may allow, be removed from such warehouse to another warehouse or to be cleared for home consumption or export, provided that provisions of this chapter shall continue to apply to the goods already deposited. Please understand 58B. Okay. If you remember the process, under section 46, we are experts of this. Under section 46, importer is filing bill of entry for warehousing. Tentative assessment will be completed. But assessment matlab what? Assessment is either under section 17 or under section 18. If there is no confusion and both importer and officer agrees, it's a final assessment under section 17. But for example, if there is a confusion about the goods, whether it is chemical X or chemical Y, and report is to be brought from the laboratory, which is going to be time consuming affair, but importer is in urgent need of goods, it will be provisional assessment. For time being, you will pay some duty, you will give bond for the differential duty. Either it will be final assessment or it will be provisional assessment. Duty will be determined. Whatever duty determined under section 59, you are giving 3 times of the duty is equal to bond. That is section 59. Section 59, if you remember, was about execution of bond. That is what we are planning to read that. We already understood this. Section 59. Hello, when you give bond, what you are binding yourself for? When you give bond, what you are binding yourself for? That when I clear the goods from the warehouse, I will pay all the duty. If I am clearing the goods late and any interest is imposed on me, I will pay that interest also. Within the warehousing period, if I have broken some laws and some penalty is levied on me, I will pay that penalty also. I will follow all the rules and regulations about warehouse goods. That is what you promise when you execute bond under section 59. 59.1. The importer of any goods in respect of which bill of entry for warehousing has been presented under section 46 and assessed to duty under section 17 or section 18 shall execute a bond of sum equal to thrice. This is amendment. Last time यहाँ पे twice लिखा था. This is 2016 amendment. Till last year bond was equal to twice the amount. Okay, thrice the amount of duty assessed on such goods binding himself. What you bind yourself for when you execute the bond? To comply with all provisions of Act and the rules regulations made thereunder, to pay on or before the date specified in the notice, duties and interest payable, to pay all penalties that are payable. When I execute the bond, I am binding myself for that when I clear the goods from warehouse, I will pay all the duties. If I am clearing it late and I am paying duty late and some interest is imposed on me, I'll pay that interest also. If because of breach of some rules, if some penalty is levied on me, I will pay that penalty also, and I promise sir that I will follow all the rules and regulations about warehousing. 59.1. If you look at, hello, very important point. If you look at before amendment section 59, why I have given it? Because this is amendment first time. So we have to understand what is the amendment. Have a look at page 97. If you try to read section 59.1, this portion is missing. And can you please explain me why? This portion is missing. Rent and charges claimed on account of such goods. This portion is not found in the new section. Can you please tell me why? Previously, the warehouse was under control of Customs Department. So, Customs Act has to safeguard the interest of the warehouse keeper. Whether importer pays the rent and charges to the warehouse keeper or not, that was the problem of Customs Department. But now that completely warehouse has been privatized, importer has nothing to do. Customs Department has nothing to do with that. It will be a private contract between the importer and the warehouse keeper. Warehouse keeper will safeguard his own interest. Before he allows the warehousing, he will take in writing from the warehouse keeper some kind of bond for his charges. In Customs Department has nothing to do with it, and that is the missing portion in the new section. It makes sense. Sir, does it make sense to you? I'm sure you are thinking about this topic. Yeah, thank you. Okay, now I want to talk about 59 too, but let me tell you, I'm Reliance. I'm a very big corporate. At any point of time, goods worth 100 crores value are always warehoused. Normally payable duty is 30%. So at any point of time, my total goods in a warehouse have duty liability of 30 crores. At any point of time, triple the duty, matlab 90 crore bond is required. Why to do this? Every time when goods are to be warehoused, to give the bond. Why to do this? Can I give one general bond? For example, I have given bond of 120 crores to the department. General bond. Please tell me, if I have given general bond of 120 crores, how much value goods can be warehoused without execution of bond? 40 crores. Can I do that? Yes, 59.2 is talking about that. For the purpose of subsection 1, Assistant Commissioner of Custom or Deputy Commissioner of Custom may permit an importer to execute a general bond in such amount as ACDC of Custom may approve in respect of the warehousing of goods to be imported by him within specified period. I have given a general bond for 1 year of 120 crores to the department. Now for that 1 year, my goods up to duty liability of 40 crores can be warehoused without execution of bond. Can I do this? 59.2 says yes. This was there in the old section also. This is not the amendment. What do you mean by bond? Bond is to be supported by a security. It's not plain bond, it is bond with security. 59.3. Okay, now listen what happens. I am the importer. Please focus on my slide. I am the importer. My goods are with port trust authorities. I came to know that my goods are unloaded with port trust authorities. I filed bill of entry for warehousing. I completed the formalities and goods were transferred to the warehouse. But remember, I am importer trader. Why have I imported goods? Because I am going to identify buyers in India and I am going to sell these goods. Custom department, Customs Act permits that I can take my buyers to warehouse and show them the goods. Buyers come to the warehouse, they like the goods. They said, yes, we are interested. They have paid me all my money. And I have given bill of lading endorsed in their favor. I have sold the goods to them. Now they will pay the customs duty and clear the goods from the customs. That is allowed under customs. What happens to the bond? I have already given the bond. What happens to the bond? The buyer will have to give equal amount of bond. Then my bond will be released. Otherwise, my bond will be still in force. Logical, eh? Of course, buyer will give equal bond. My bond will be cancelled. And whenever he clears the good, his bond also will be cancelled. Make sense? Please find that written in 59.4 and 59.5. Satisfied by my bond, officer will pass warehousing order. If you remember that, it is passed under section 60. Tentative assessment was completed. Tentative duty liability was determined. I have executed bond under section 59. Officer is satisfied by the bond. He will pass warehousing order under section 60. On payment of port trust charges, goods will be transferred to the warehouse. Section 60 is talking about passing warehousing order. Please complete section 60, page number 98. Page number 99, section 61. Once the goods are warehoused, for how much time they can be kept in a warehouse? Before we read this section, which is completely amended, first I have to explain you one concept. Export oriented unit concept, but once again with a different angle. Look the way I am doing my business. I am export oriented unit. I want to purchase capital goods from Germany. I want to purchase fabric from Taiwan. This is my capital goods, machines. This is my inputs. Using these capital goods, using these inputs, I'll manufacture my final product shirts. And directly from the warehouse, directly from my factory, I want to export it to UK. I have no operation whatsoever with DTA. I don't purchase capital goods from DTA. I don't purchase inputs from DTA. I don't sell my stuff into DTA. I'm completely export oriented unit. When I import capital goods, whatever import duty I will have to pay and then go for duty drawbacks. Fabric, whenever I purchase fabric, I'll have to pay import duties, and then when I export my final product, I will have to opt for duty drawback. It means some working capital is blocked. Instead of that, what I do, my whole factory, I apply for license as custom warehouse. Goods can be taken to the custom warehouse without payment of duty. goods can be taken to the custom warehouse without payment of duty. I bring capital goods without paying any import duty, take it to warehouse. You can warehouse any goods, execution of bond, no duty payable. Capital goods which are brought to my factory, which is a custom warehouse, will remain in custom warehouse for their lifetime. Fabric, I will import without payment of duty, because goods can be warehoused without payment of duty. So fabric I import without paying import duty, it is directly taken to my factory, which is a custom warehouse. Till the time fabric is converted into shirts, it will remain in the warehouse, and from the warehouse directly my final product will be exported. What I have done is, my factory itself is a custom warehouse. If that is true, for how much time capital goods can be warehoused? For their lifetime. For how much time inputs can be warehoused? Till they are consumed in the manufacture of final product. No problem, and there is no time limit. Are you okay with that? Explaining the section, if you are EOU, your capital goods and your inputs can be warehoused without any time limit. For others, whether capital good or input, maximum 1 year. Whether this period of 1 year, can it be reduced by the officer? Yes. Can it be increased by the officer? Yes. Extension possible? Yes. Is any interest payable? I have not discussed that. But first, let us understand this portion. Let us understand this portion, which is written in 61(1), and this is completely amended. यहाँ पे last time कुछ और लिखा था, that is redundant, so not applicable. Let me tell you, last time लिखा था 5 years and 3 years, but that is not applicable now. Yes. After that you have to clear, unless it is increased by the procedure. Can it be reduced? Yes. Normally warehousing is allowed for 1 year, but when officer passes warehousing order under section 60, he will say normally 1 year, but in your case only 6 months. I don't like you. 6 months, maybe. We are going to read that in English. I explained you that. Let me explain one more thing. Is any interest payable? Yes, after 90 days. Yeah, no question of interest. Hello, 1 minute focus, presenting diagrammatically. Warehousing order was passed on 1/1/2016. Warehousing will be allowed for 1 year without interest for 90 days. So after goods are clear warehouse, if I clear them here, only duty is payable, no interest is payable. But suppose I clear them here, interest will be payable from 91st day till date of clearance, till date of payment at the rate of 15%. Warehousing order, look at my diagram if you have not understood. Warehousing order was passed on 1/1/2016. Normally goods will be warehoused for 1 year, 31/12/2016, without interest for 90 days. So if I clear goods here on payment of duty, only duty, no interest. But suppose I clear goods here on payment of duty, duty plus interest, interest starts from 91st day till date of payment. So nice. So simple. Sir, if you are EOU, and if it is capital goods or inputs, goods can be kept in a warehouse without time limit. English में लिखा है थोड़े words है for capital goods for their lifetime and for inputs till they are consumed. But that means for lifetime. If you are others, 1 year. Without interest for 90 days. Rate of interest 15%. Let us read that in English. I'm wasting your time because if you have understood this, I'm wasting your time. But let us waste. Page number 99, section 61. Any warehouse goods may remain in a warehouse in which they are deposited or in any warehouse to which they have been removed. A. In a case of capital goods intended for use in 100% export oriented undertaking. So A is only talking about capital goods and it is only talking about EOU or electronic hardware technology park until or software technology park unit or any warehouse wherein manufacture or other operations have been permitted under section 65 till their clearance from the warehouse. This section 65 is pending. We're going to study that immediately after 5 minutes. But other things we have understood, they are all export oriented units. We call them either EOU or we call them electronic hardware technology park or we call them software technology park, but they are all 100% EOUs till their clearance from the warehouse. So if you are talking about capital goods and EOU, they can be warehouse till their clearance from the warehouse. B. In case of goods other than capital goods intended for EOUs. So he is talking about EOU but not capital goods, matlab inputs etc. Till their consumption or clearance from the warehouse. C. In the case of other goods, matlab here we are talking about other than EOU. Matlab normal DTA unit. Now whether it is a capital good or whether it is an input does not matter. In the case of other goods, till the expiry of 1 year from the date on which proper officer has made an order under subsection 1 of section 60, provided that in the case of any goods referred to in this clause, Principal Commissioner of Custom or Commissioner of Custom on sufficient cause being shown extend the period for which the goods may remain. Provided further that where such goods are likely to be deteriorated, period referred to in first proviso may be reduced. Hello. Normally it is 1 year, but in a particular case, officer may reduce that period. In a particular case, officer may give extension also. Now interest, about which 61.2 is talking. Where any warehouse goods specified in clause C of subsection 1, matlab warehousing interest possible only for C category, for EOU interest not applicable. Others के लिए खाली interest है. Where any warehouse goods specified in clause C of subsection 1 remain in a warehouse beyond period of 90 days from the date on which proper officer has made an order under subsection 1 of section 60, interest shall be payable at such rate as may be specified, that is 15%, on the amount of duty payable at the time of clearance of the goods for the period from the expiry of said period of 90 days till date of payment. Interest is payable from 91st day till date of payment. Interest rate is 15%. 47 का rate मतलब 15%. One question which has come in the past examination, but now answer has changed because there was one notification and there was a language of section 60 which has been changed. 61 ka language has been changed. So this question is important and expected. Warehousing order was passed on 1/1/2016. Please understand, I execute the bond, officer is satisfied, he has passed warehousing order, but I got the warehousing order in the evening. With the warehousing order, next morning I went to Port Trust. They said we are observing public holidays for 3 days. You don't come today. I went to PTA on 2nd. They said we are observing public holidays for 3 days. You come only on 4th. 4th when I go there to collect my goods. When I request them, now sir, this is the warehousing order, please transfer the goods to the warehouse. He said, what about my charges? Who will pay that? He gave me challan. I went to the bank. It took a lot of time. By the evening, challan was ready that I have paid the port trust charges. I went to PTA back and he said, now we are closed, come tomorrow. So fifth morning, I show him the proof and he said, okay, now I am transferring the goods. Warehousing order was passed on 1/1/2016, but goods were actually warehoused on 5/1/2016. I am clearing them for home consumption on 10th of June 2016. Is interest payable? I am paying duty and clearing the goods on 10th of June. Is interest payable, and from what date to what date? Is it reference from the date when goods were actually warehoused, or is it section 61 में क्या लिखा है? Is it from the date when goods were actually warehoused, or is it from the date when warehousing order was passed? Let us read section 61, that portion. Interest कभी से payable है? Hello, from the date on which the proper officer has made an order under subsection 1 of section 60, interest shall be payable till date of payment. So interest is payable, hello, matlab 90 days to be calculated from 1st January. 90 days to be calculated from 1st January, not from the date when goods were actually warehoused. From 90 days, यहाँ से यहाँ तक no interest. Interest will start from 91st day till date of payment. First calculate 90 days from 1st January, arrive at 91st day, and from 91st day up to 10th of June, you calculate number of days. Interest is payable for those days. We are expecting this problem to come because before amendment, answer would have been different. Before amendment, 90 days was to be calculated from 5th of January, but now that is amended. I will repeat, 90 days is to be calculated from the date of warehousing order. Rate of interest will be of course 15%. Suppose duty amount was 1 lakh. What will be your answer? Mathematical, simple, do it in homework, calculation of number of days, and mathematically solving. Concept you can understand here, actual calculation you do at the home. वन वन 2016 से फर्स्ट कैलकुलेट 90 डेज, देन 91st डे जो भी आएगा वहां से 10th जून, 91st डे एंड 10th जून बोथ इंक्लूसिव. If you look at practice manual, you will find the same problem solved, but they have calculated days from 5th January. Now that is wrong. There was one circular, but that is now overruled, so I have removed that circular from my book. Provided that this is not very important. Actual important examination dynamic portion is over. This is not important provision. Provided that board, if necessary so to do in public interest, may by order under the circumstances of exceptional nature to be specified in such order waive the whole or any part of interest. ऐसे कुछ होता नहीं है जिंदगी में. बोलते कभी कभी will issue the notification and waive the interest for few goods. Or by notification in official gazette specify the class of goods in respect of which no interest shall be chargeable. we will come out with a notification. For example, it is educational related goods. No interest. Even after 91st, they will declare that list by notification. C. By notification in official gazette, specify the class of goods in respect of which interest shall be chargeable from the date on which proper officer has made order under subsection. There will be some goods where we'll say interest not payable after 90 days, interest payable after 180 days. We'll issue separate notification for that. तीन चीजें पॉसिबल बोलता है. सम गुड्स में जो लेविड इंटरेस्ट है उसको वेव कर देंगे, सम गुड्स में देयर विल बी नो इंटरेस्ट एट ऑल, and some goods may interest will start not after 90 days, after some other period specified. No notification has come as yet, so this is not required. What do you mean by EOU? Explanation. Read it in the homework. No question can come. Pratibha, page number 100. प्रतिभा प्रोसेसर्स. देखो प्रतिभा क्या बोलती है. एग्जाम्पल दे रहा हूं. EOU, you are not EOU, you are normal person. Warehousing order was passed on 1/1/2016, and on the same day goods were warehoused. Warehousing was allowed for 90 days, for 1 year, 31/12/2016. I know and you know, without interest for 90 days. 1 lakh was the value of the goods. Duty liability was 20,000. Bond was for 60,000. You're okay with that? You're okay with that? My goods are in a warehouse, but suddenly I found a foreign buyer. I have filed shipping bill. Officer considered my application and he passed late export order directly from the warehouse. Without payment of duty, goods were exported. That means I have no duty liability. Duty is payable if goods are cleared for home consumption. What about interest? What about interest? Pratibha says if no duty, no interest, because interest is accessory of the duty. Same example but different I want to give you. 1 minute focus karna. Warehousing order was passed on 1/1/2016. Please focus on my slide please. Same day goods were warehoused and they were warehoused for 1 year. Let me give you some information. Value was 1 lakh. Duty all puts together 20%, 20,000. So I have given a bond of 60,000 and goods were warehoused. Happy. And you know, without interest for 90 days. But suddenly here government issued one exemption notification. 100% exemption to my goods. Are you there? When goods were warehoused, they were dutiable. But after goods are transferred to the warehouse, government has issued one exemption notification. And because of exemption, my goods are no more dutiable. I filed bill of entry for home consumption here. I must have filed it under section 68. Do you remember what is relevant rate of duty for me? If you are trying to clear goods from warehouse, you must be filing bill of entry for home consumption under section 68. That day's rate is relevant for you. Rate with exemption notification, my duty liability is 0. But I am clearing after 90 days. Whether interest is payable. No duty, no interest. Pratibha processor. Pratibha processor, first I explained you from the export point of view. If you have warehouse goods and after 90 days, if you are exporting them directly from warehouse, because you are exporting, no duty will be payable, obviously no interest also will be payable. Same thing as an exception can happen if exemption, 100% exemption is issued in respect of warehouse goods also. Can exempt goods be warehoused? No. अभी पढ़ा था ओनली ड्यूटीएबल गुड्स. सर जब भी गुड्स को वेयर हाउस किया था वो ड्यूटीएबल थे. Otherwise, officer would not have allowed me warehousing only. When I warehoused the goods, they were dutiable, but subsequently exemption was issued. Immediately, I will like to take advantage. Why wait? I'll immediately clear the goods. Because if government withdraws the exemption, again I will have to pay duty. I thought exemption again next day, bill of entry for home consumption. And you know relevant date? If you are clearing goods from warehouse, what is relevant date to decide rate of duty? Relevant date is given by section 15(1)(b), and he says date on which you file bill of entry for home consumption under section 68. When I file the bill of entry, CETA Custom Tariff Act read with exemption notification nil rate duty. If duty is nil, what about interest? Because I am clearing after 90 days. Pratibha said no duty, no interest. Because she said that interest is the accessory of the duty. और प्रतिभा ने बोला है तो सुनना पड़ेगा. Are you building the confidence that really you can complete customs in 6 hours? Please, please, please understand, I am not talking any exaggerated version. एकदम manageable subject है. Warehousing chapter can be exactly revised in half an hour. Sir, do you believe in me when I say this? Honestly, I want your opinion. I know your approach. You are very serious about studies. You are giving me backup. Yes. You are able to handle it in the time I mentioned. Yes. So you two are the absolutely expert. I think you are planning to write a book. Yeah? No. SBC Sugars. I'm on page 100. SBC Sugars. Listen to my story. Warehousing order was passed on 1/1/2016. Warehousing was allowed for 1 year, that is up to 31/12/2016, without interest for 90 days. Let me tell you, when warehousing bill of entry for warehousing was filed, rate of duty was 10%. Here, on 31/12/2016, for example, rate was 15%. What happened is like this: warehousing period is over, but importer soya pada hai. He has not cleared the goods. Warehouse keeper is offended, custom department is offended, they started issuing show cause notice, clear your goods, your warehousing period is over, otherwise we'll auction your goods. Importer filed bill of entry for home consumption under section 68 after warehousing period is over. That day rate of duty was 8%, which is applicable rate. If you are trying to clear the goods from home consumption, relevant date is given by section 15(1)(b), and there they have written the date on which you file bill of entry for home consumption under section 68 is relevant date, but SBC Sugar Supreme Court said on the date of expiry of warehousing period, goods are deemed removed. Applicable rate will be 15%. Supreme Court ने क्या बोला? On the expiry of warehousing period, goods are deemed removed and rate is crystallized to 15%. You will have to pay 15%. Hello, एक सेकंड स्लाइड के ऊपर फोकस करना. Do you remember I can apply for extension? Suppose I would have applied for extension and I was given extension. Suppose I applied for extension and I was given extension. Now, no problem. Now, no problem. If I was applied for extension and I was given extension, SBC Sugar will not be applicable. Rate will be still 8%. But SBC Sugar mein he had not applied for extension. Now I want to talk about circular number 15 of 2009 on page 100. Can I proceed? We are concerned with this portion, 15 of 2009 on page 100. But before I explain you that, once you please remember what was 47.2. Yesterday we have studied 47.2, which was on page number 83. (47.2) is on page number 83. Please try to remember that. Let me tell you what was written there. After you get self-assessed bill of entry back, if you are not paid within 2 working days, you will have to pay duty with interest at the rate of 15%. That was 47.2. As soon as you get bill of entry assessed back, you should pay immediately. If you pay within 2 working days, no interest, but otherwise interest. 47.2. Now, please focus on my slide. Warehousing order was passed on 1/1/2016. Same day goods were warehoused. Warehousing was allowed for 1 year. That means up to 31/12/2016. And as you remember, without interest for 90 days. I filed bill of entry for home consumption here under section 68. Same day I got bill of entry assessed back, but I paid here. In between was 10 working days. Am I supposed to pay interest? I got bill of entry for home consumption. I filed bill of entry for home consumption under section 68 here. Within 90 days I am saying. Same day I got it back, but I paid only here. In between there were 10 working days. Is interest under 47.2 is payable? Answer is no, because payment of duty without interest is allowed up to 90 days and you are paid before that, so no interest is payable. Huh? No, here it is warehousing. There I am coming to that point. So here duty deferment without interest, what is 90 days? Duty deferment without interest. Here warehousing was allowed subject to duty deferment of 90 days without interest, and I am paying duty within that date. So 47.2 interest not payable. Hello, I change my example. I filed bill of entry for home consumption here under section 68. That is after 90 days. Same day I got it assessed back, but I paid here. This is also after 10 days. Is interest under 47.2 payable? And again answer is no, because from 91st day up to date of payment interest is payable under section 61. You cannot pay 2 times interest. That means 47.2 interest is only if you are trying to clear goods from port trust, not if you are trying to clear goods from warehouse. Wow, that's the logic. If you are paying within 90 days, anyway payment of duty without interest was allowed to you. 90 days means what? Duty deferment without interest. If you are paying before that, anyway duty deferment was allowed to you without interest. What about this situation? You are paying after 90 days, but then this situation is already taken care of by section 61. From 91st day till date of payment, anyway at rate of 15% interest is payable under section 61. So how can you pay 2 times interest, one under section 61, one under 47.2? Matlab 47.2 is not for warehousing. 47.2 is only if you are clearing goods from port trust authorities. Please complete study of that circular. Okay. Are you okay with that? I am on page 102. There is small circular here. As I told you, examiner asks question based on circular. पहले बात को समझना. Warehousing order was passed on 1/1/2016 and it was allowed up to 31/12/2016. Obviously without interest for 90 days. My example, warehousing order, I want to explain you circular on page number 102. Warehousing order was passed on 1/1/2016. It was allowed for 1 year, 31/12/2016, obviously without interest for 90 days. But warehousing period is getting over and I need some more time. I apply for extension. Commissioner was kind enough. He has granted me the extension. Old section 59 and old procedures, there was a small procedure. If you apply for extension, interest amount is going to increase. When the bond was taken, we had calculated approximately interest liability also up to 31st December. 1 year was covered. Now that we are giving you extension, it will amount to more interest, obviously. So there was a procedure for asking for more bond and more surety from the banker. But now that 2 times bond, we have increased it to 3 times. Also, with the bond, we are also insisting on surety. Extension can be granted without that procedure. That old procedure will grant you extension subject to condition that probable interest, increased interest, you have to give me additional bond and you have to give me security for that. That procedure has been dispensed with. हमने जब बॉन्ड लिया था तभी 2 times बॉन्ड को 3 times कर दिया है and we have taken full security. So that procedure of giving extension subject to additional interest, additional bond and surety not required, dispense with. That is what the circular is explaining you. Examiner will ask you case study based question. Extension has been applied. Whether increased interest, some bond is to be demanded. Whether security and surety should be demanded. Answer is no. I am on page 103. There was one section 62. It is completely omitted. You can see page 103. It is not substituted. It is omitted. Page 103, section 62. First, let me tell you what was section 62. Section 62 was saying when goods are warehoused, they will remain absolutely in control of custom officer. He will lock and key the warehouse. I am on page 103. Section 62 seems that completely omitted. But I will tell you what was written in section 62. Warehouse goods will always remain under the top control of custom officer. He will keep the warehouse under his own lock and key. Nobody can enter the premises without his permission, but warehouse keeper can anytime enter the premises and check the goods. Section 2 is completely omitted. Can you tell me why? As far as 57 public warehouse is concerned and 58 private warehouse is concerned, custom officer does not exercise any control on them. As far as 58A special warehouse is concerned, 58 एक बार पढ़ना, उसमें ये लिख दिया है already. 58 section में 58A section में ही लिख दिया है that custom officer will have control on that warehouse and nobody can enter. वो सब English में लिख दिया है. So 62 is not required. Very logical. अच्छा 63 को भी omit कर दिया और उसको भी सब्स्टिट्यूट नहीं किया. फर्स्ट लेट मी टेल यू व्हाट वाज रिटन इन सेक्शन 63. सेक्शन 63 में लिखा था व्हाट आर द वेयरहाउस कीपर्स राइट्स. द गुड्स विल रिमेन अंडर हिज कंट्रोल. ही विल डील विद द गुड्स. ही विल कीप द रिकॉर्ड्स एंड ही विल नॉट हैंड ओवर द गुड्स अनलेस कस्टम ऑफिसर इज अलाउड एंड ही विल डिमांड हिज चार्जेस. वो सेक्शन 63 को भी डिमांड कर दिया. क्यों? बिकॉज वेयरहाउस आर नॉट अंडर एनी मोर कस्टम्स डिपार्टमेंट. इट इज नॉट देयर प्रॉब्लम. Warehouse keeper is a private player. He will safeguard his own interest. Custom Act did not talk about it. Makes sense. 63 is completely omitted. Not substituted, omitted. Makes sense. Before the break, एक last section करते हैं. Section 64. Section 64 is talking about importers' rights. और उसमें ये वाला पोर्शन नहीं है. कंपेयर करो तो बाकी सब एज इट इज है. सो फर्स्ट लेट मी टेल यू व्हाट इज देयर टुडे. इफ आई एम द इंपोर्टर, लिसन टू मी. If I am the importer and my goods are in a warehouse, I can go to the warehouse and inspect my goods. If some goods are deteriorated, I can sort the goods. I can change their containers. I can take the customers to the warehouse and show the goods to them. This is the thing even today I can do. What I cannot do, previously the likha tha, if I want to remove the samples, I can remove them without filing bill of entry and without payment of duty. What has happened is like this, what I have imported is nuts and bolts. Large nuts and bolts का एक बड़ा consignment है, 1 million nuts and bolts, small packs. I am only asking for 10 samples to the officer. Sir, give me 10 samples. I will show it to my customer and then I will restore. Officer says, okay, you can take it without filing bill of entry and without payment of duty, because when I clear the consignment, it will be included in that. But now that provision is not there. So logically, I can clear the samples without filing bill of entry with the permission of the officer, but on payment of duty. Hello, 15.1c याद है क्या? 15.1c. What is the situation when you are paying the duty but you are not filed bill of entry? Sample can be a wonderful example of that. I go to the customs department. I tell that there are 1 million nuts and bolts in the warehouse. I only want 10. Officer says, okay, pay the duty and clear the samples. You need not file bill of entry. So one case where you are paying the duty but you are not filed bill of entry is removal of sample on payment of duty. 15.1c भी pending रखा था. एक बार पहले 15.1c देखते हैं. Relevant date. 15.1c. I am on page number 59. Section 15.1c. In case of any other goods on date of payment. What is that situation when you are paying duty but you are not filed bill of entry? And it is sample. If you look at page number 58 in my chart. Other cases. I have given example. Removal of sample on payment of duty. Are you okay with that? Yesterday 15.1c को मैंने pending रखा था. Read the section on page number 59, relate it to the chart on page number 58. And complete study of page 104 also, section 64 we are experts. What are the rights of importer? Hello, section 64, at least 3 times the question has come till now. What are the rights of the importer in respect of warehouse goods? This time I can expect a question. What are the rights under Customs Act in respect of warehouse goods of custom officer, of warehouse keeper and importer? That makes very good question. What are the provisions under Customs Act? Hello, reference focus करना Customs Act word के ऊपर. What are the provisions under Customs Act of rights of following person? A. Custom officer. B. Warehouse keeper. C. Importer. A. You know the answer now? You know the answer now? B. You know the answer now? C. You know the answer now? A. No provisions other than special warehouse. B. No provisions in Customs Act, because now under the ease of business, warehouses have been privatized. So Customs Act is silent on that issue. Warehouse keeper is a private player. He will have to safeguard his interest. Customs Act is silent on that issue. C. Importer. And we have to write down this. And we have to stress on the amendment that samples can be removed on payment of duty, but without filing bill of entry. That makes it a wonderful question. We'll meet after 10 minutes. Before the break, we have completed up to section 64, page number 104. Now the balance portion of warehousing is to be completed. Hardly any portion. I'm talking about next 4 pages. So let us understand this, and if you understand in proper perspective, it becomes more easy. What I want to do is like this. what we are planning to study now is what are the rights of the importer. That is pending. What are the rights of the importer in respect of warehouse goods? That is the topic. I can imagine rights in two parts. One, within warehouse. Within within warehouse, what he can do with his goods, and by removing from warehouse, what he can do with his goods. First, I will complete this side first. We are going to read all that, but I suggest that you should copy this chart. Ideally, you can copy it on page number 104. 104. Removing from warehouse. You use that page. Then I wish that you keep 105 for me. Here we have to write down something. Other than here, anywhere you can copy this chart. Removing from warehouse, either he can transfer it from one warehouse to another warehouse, that is section 67, or by filing bill of entry for home consumption, he can clear it good for home consumption, that is section 68, or by filing shipping bill directly from the warehouse without payment of duty, he can export the goods, that is section 69. Very simple. Within warehouse, what he can do? Within warehouse, what he can do? One is section 64. I think we have already understood that it has given few options. What we have studied here was inspect the goods, change the goods, sort the goods, change the containers, and show the goods. Section 64. Then proviso to section 68. That was, we are going to study this, relinquish the title. And the last is section 65, which is called as manufacturing under custom warehousing. What I want is that you understand this chart. Today in the classroom we can read this, but now onwards with this chart quickly you can finish next 3-4 pages. It's very simple. It's very simple. When you understand, you will realize it's very simple. एक बार repeat करता हूँ. What are the rights of the importer in respect of warehouse goods? Few are the rights what he can do with his goods within warehouse. Few are the rights what importer can do with his goods by removing from warehouse. First, this side, removing from warehouse, he can transfer it from one warehouse to another. Section 67. He can file bill of entry for home consumption. On payment of duty, goods will be cleared for home consumption. Or he can file a shipping bill. Without payment of duty directly from warehouse, goods can be exported. Section 64 gives some rights. We already studied this. Provide you to section 68 we are going to study. It is calling about relinquishment of title. And last is section 65, which is talking about manufacturing under custom warehousing. For convenience, this we are going to study last and independently. Baki sab we will finish just now. For convenience, this we are going to do last. So let us complete first section 64, which is on page 104. We have already completed this. एक बार रिवाइज करो उसको. सेक्शन 64. Next, I am on page section 65. We are keeping pending. Next, page 106, section 67. Hello, nothing to value add. He can transfer his goods from one warehouse to another warehouse. जैसे कि problem है, I am from Noida. Goods were unloaded at Mumbai port. In hurry, I got them warehouse to some warehouse in Mumbai. But it is becoming inconvenient. Noida, Mumbai. There is another warehouse in Noida. I can get it transferred from one warehouse to another warehouse under section 67. Obviously, period of 1 year or period of 90 days is to be calculated from day 1 of the first warehouse. Per warehouse nahi hoga wo. That is not per warehouse. That is obvious. That is section 67. Also, there is another possibility. I had kept goods in one warehouse, but his license is terminated. He informs me, within 7 days clear your goods. I transfer it to another warehouse. I think we have understood. Very simple. As far as 68 is concerned, first part we are already experts. Ye part. Because we have studied this when we studied relevant date. If my goods are in warehouse and I have made up my mind that I want to clear it for home consumption, I will file bill of entry for home consumption under section 68. Final assessment will be completed. Duty will be paid. Out of charge order will be issued. And on payment of warehousing charges, goods will be cleared for home consumption. I think we are experts of this portion. Now, I want to talk about this portion. This is called as relinquishment. My goods are in warehouse. You remember my story. My goods are in warehouse. Value of goods is 100 crores. Total import duty payable is 30 crores. But something terribly went wrong. What I have imported is Nokia phones. Nokia has introduced new range. Because of that, this old range mobiles nobody will buy. If I clear these mobile phones and sell in India, I'll hardly get 10 crores. I have lost lot of money. But if I clear, I'm losing more money. Because for paying duty 30 crores, realization 10 crores, I will lose another 20 crores. Can I relinquish the title? Yes. पहले भी इसके बार एक बार सुना था. That time goods were with port trust authorities. Now goods are with warehouse. That's the difference. We are going to write down one note. This note is not there in the book. This has come 4 times in the examination. Relinquishment. So where do we write? Maybe page 107. I said very loudly that 105, keep it for myself. 107, maybe good place. Relinquishment. Importer, I'm dictating the note please. Importer can relinquish the title of the goods in the favor of customs department. Importer can relinquish the title in the favor of customs department. Relinquishment can be done. Relinquishment can be done under section 48, पेज 185. मैं पेज नंबर के रेफरेंस के साथ डिक्टेट कर रहा हूं, एग्जाम में मत लिखना. Relinquishment can be done under section 48, page number 85, when goods are with port trust authorities. Second line, relinquishment can be done under section 68, page 106, when goods are with warehouse keeper. 106, when goods are with warehouse keeper. Relinquishment can be done. Next line, relinquishment can be done on payment of all charges that have already accrued or penalties that have been already levied. Levied. जो ऑलरेडी चार्जेस एक्रूड है वो गुड्स के, और जो ऑलरेडी पेनल्टीज लेविड है दैट यू हैव टू पे. नेक्स्ट लाइन, इन केस ऑफ रिलिंक्विशमेंट In case of relinquishment, importer need not pay duty or future charges and penalties that may be levied. He did not pay duty or interest and penalties future which may be levied. Last line, no relinquishment can be done for goods for which offense appears to have been committed. ये लास्ट लाइन का मतलब भी मैंने आपको समझा दिया था. यू रिमेंबर दैट. वो स्मगलर, he was running with the goods, custom department arrest him, he also, sir, I relinquish my title, because moment you relinquish, duty and future proceedings are not applicable, so you cannot be prosecuted. No, if offense appears to have been committed, you cannot relinquish. In all other cases you can relinquish the goods. Now it is self-explanatory note, please read it yourself. Relinquishment we have completed. I have completed this portion. Please focus on the slide. This portion also I have completed. Relinquishment. So we have completed section 68. I have completed relinquishment also. On the left side, only section 65 is pending. Please also complete page 106, section 68. Everything is completed now. Section 68. Section 69(1) we are again expert. We have already studied that. This is the portion. My goods are in a warehouse, but I was able to identify one foreign buyer. It is making more sense to export the goods. I'll file shipping bill. Goods will be assessed and officer will allow let export order. Hello, listen to my English. Directly from a warehouse without payment of duty, goods will be exported. Section 69 is talking about that. I think we have understood this. One amendment, which is not the latest amendment. Previously, warehouse export was only allowed as cargo, but now even postal route is allowed. My goods are in a warehouse, they are diamonds. I got a buyer in South Africa. No, South Africa is exporter. I got a buyer in UK who wants to buy the diamonds. I have struck the deal. I give the order to postal department, collect the goods from the warehouse and deliver it to London. Goods will not be exported as cargo. They will be exported via postal route. Can you export the goods from the warehouse by postal route? Amendment. Yes. But not latest amendment. This is that amendment. Under section 82 matlab postal route. We have not studied this. As you can see here, also reference to warehousing charges is not there anymore, because that is again private. Custom department has nothing to do with that. What is the amendment here? The reference to warehousing charges is missing. You have to pay duty, interest, warehousing charges. Customs Act is silent. 69(2) is pending. 69(2) is pending. 69(1) we have completed. 69(2) does not belong to this chart, but 69(2) one question has come in the examination. Where 69(2) is there, mark it. Also, 3 pages simultaneously देखने हैं. एक है page 129. Hello. First you mark 69(2). First you mark 69(2). Here you write down refer to page 129-30. 129 and 130 and refer to 76(2). That is what you are writing on page 106. You have marked 69(2) and you have written refer to page 129, 130 and 76(2). Once you come on page 129, mark 76(2). Here also you write down refer to page 106, 69(2). कम ऑन पेज 129, मार्क 76.2, उसको भी 69.2 के साथ रिलेट करो, मतलब एक दूसरे को रिलेट करो. और पेज नंबर 130, बॉटम ऑफ द पेज देयर इज वन क्वेश्चन विच इज पास्ट एग्जामिनेशन क्वेश्चन. दिस इज द थर्ड थिंग. पेज 130, बॉटम ऑफ द पेज देयर इज वन क्वेश्चन. ये तीनों चीज को साथ में पढ़ना है, बट आज नहीं, आज खाली 69.2 पढ़ के छोड़ देंगे. जब when we reach this page, I'll bring you back here. Today we'll only understand 69.2. Having said that, come back on page 106. I'm talking about 69.2. If you remember, my goods are in a warehouse. Are you there? My goods are in a warehouse. Just now we said directly from warehouse without payment of duty goods can be exported. Yes, true. But there are few countries like Nepal, Bhutan. They are the countries with which we have geographical boundaries. Custom department observed that in the daytime goods are exported directly from warehouse to Nepal, and in the night they are smuggled back. They are the countries with which we have geographical boundaries. If you are exporting countries to Nepal from the warehouse without payment of duty, you can do it, but subject to additional procedures. Section 69.2 says, yes, I know, from warehouse goods can be exported without payment of duty, but are you exporting to countries like Nepal, Bhutan, etc.? You will be allowed to do that subject to fulfillment of additional procedures. Those procedures are not part of our syllabus, but focus point ye hai, government will safeguard that they are not smuggled back. Government will safeguard that they are actually for consumption in Nepal. You have to prove it, then you are allowed to export. 69.2 is talking about that. Sir, 69.1 said you can export the goods directly from warehouse without payment of duty. 69.2 says this facility of without payment of duty possible for few countries subject to additional conditions. Please complete 69.2. In this chart, we have completed everything other than section 65. I'll keep section 65 for pending for another 5-10 minutes. Let us first please complete page 108. Section 70. Very simple section. When I warehouse the goods, it was 1000 liters of chemical X. Are you there? I am talking about section 70. When I warehouse the goods, it was 1000 liters of chemical X. But after 3 months, when I go to clear, it is only 990 liters. Hey, where is that 10 liter gone? It evaporated. And that is the tendency of this chemical X. Section 70. Hello, 1 minute slide के ऊपर focus. Section 70 subsection 2. There is list of goods. For example, उसमें लिखा है chemical X. 1% per 6 months. Name of the goods and how much normal loss takes place, evaporation or whatever reasons. There is a list of the goods with permissible percentage of normal loss. If it is chemical X, permissible percentage of normal loss allowed is 1% per 6 months. I said I warehouse 1000 liters of chemical X, and 5th month when I clear, I am clearing only 990 liters. Where is that 10 liter gone? It evaporated. It is a natural loss, normal loss attached to these goods. I need to pay duty only on 990 liters. If goods are notified, hello English, if goods are notified under 70 subsection 2, this facility is available. For example, chemical Y, it is not in that list. I had warehouse 1000 liters, and when I go to clear, it is only 990 liters. It is not in this list. Remission will be allowed subject to completion of procedure. For chemical X, it is my right. Hello, are you listening to me? Both for chemical X and both for chemical Y, you will have to pay duty on 990 liters. But for chemical Y, which does not fall in the list, you will have to complete the procedure of remission. There is a procedure of remission, you will have to complete that, and then you can pay on only on 990 liters. But in chemical X, it's my right. It is written in the act, And in the schedule, again, if chemical X, if it was 980 liters, loss is more than permissible. For 10 liters, it is my right. For 10 liters, I'll have to do the procedure. No, remission is ab initio. 990 liters. That is refund. What you are saying is that I'll have to pay. This we are going to study in remission chapter. There is a chapter for this. But then still, I want to answer. Remission matlab 990 liters. I'll file bill of entry for home consumption for 990 liters. We are talking about chemical X in permissible limit. 990 के ऊपर duty pay करूँगा. Officer will allow me that. No problem. What you are talking about is refund. In that case, I'll have to pay on 1000 liters, then get order of remission and then apply for refund. That is different. Let us keep that issue pending for that chapter. Section 71. Please understand, section 71 is telling you what do you mean by good boy. What do you mean by good boy? Because 72 says, other than what you are above, you are a bad boy. Are you getting me? 71 says, what do you mean by good removal? Hello, by filing bill of entry for home consumption, by filing shipping bill export, or any other method allowed by the Act on payment of duty as sample with the intimation to the officer will amount to good removal. Section 71 is explaining you what do you mean by good removal. Why? Because 72 says, other than above, if you have done any kind of removal, including, hello, are you listening to me? Including not removing within warehousing period is bad removal. Is a bad removal. What do you mean by good removal? Filing bill of entry for home consumption, paying duty and clearing the goods. Filing shipping bill, exporting the goods. Or anything other than that, transferring from one warehouse to another warehouse. Or anything else which is allowed by the Act. For example, removing it as sample on payment of duty with the permission of the officer. That is what you call it as good removal. Section 71. Section 72. Other than those methods, any removal, including not removing within warehousing period, is bad removal. Will give you notice. Will give you notice. You have to pay duty, interest, penalties immediately. And if still you don't pay, and if we are getting hold of those goods, we'll auction those goods and recover our money. Be prepared for all proceedings under this Act. Who said that? Section 72 said that. Examiner has asked this question. What do you mean by good removal? Section 73 is very simple. Either you have paid the duty and cleared the goods for home consumption, or you have exported the goods. Both the cases, bond is not required. Let us cancel that bond. Section 73. A logical section. एक सेक्शन पेंडिंग है 73A. Warehouse keepers obligations. You know, now he is a private player. He is allowed, he is supposed to follow many rules and regulations and procedures. It is his responsibility to follow that. And if he contravenes any rules or regulations, will cancel his license. 73A is very logical. Now that we have licensed it to private players, the warehousing, 57 and 58 wala. In fact, 58 wala bhi. This warehousing is subject to certain rules, regulations and procedures. It is a responsibility of the warehouse keeper to follow that. And if he contravenes any rules, regulations, we may terminate his license. 73A, which is on page 109.